Welcome to the First Run, boys and girls. Chris Scalzo here with...
The man with no name.
And this week on the big show, we're going to talk about American Sniper, Clint Eastwood's latest film about Chris Kyle, the U.S. military's most successful marksman of all time. Stars Bradley Cooper and Sienna Miller. We're also going to tell you what's coming up on Blu-ray and DVD featuring Dave's streaming pick of the week. And then it's going to be one of my favorite segments when we tell you what the 5 worst films of 2014 were. I always love getting that venom out of my system and just finally being able to put that to bed. So before we jump into all of that incredibly just entertaining stuff, let's hear a little clip from American Sniper.
Let me ask you a question, Chris. Would you be surprised if I told you that the Navy has credited you with over 160 kills? Do you ever think that you might have seen things or done some things over there that you wish you hadn't?
Oh, that's not me, no.
What's not you?
I don't tell you enough. I'm so proud of you. You're such a great father.
So you're not worried about what might happen?
I'm willing to meet my creator and answer for every shot that I took.
Don't pick it up. Drop it.
So what, are you in Germany or where?
I'm stateside.
You're home? What are you doing?
I guess I just needed a minute. The thing that haunts me are all the guys that I couldn't save.
Hey! Tend to my daughter, please, right now!
I'm ready.
Oh, my God!
I'm ready to come home.
So Dave, American Sniper, nominated for Best Picture at the Academy Awards, which are coming up on February 22nd, was my second favorite film of 2014, Dave. You, sadly, unfortunately, are not able to check it out in time for our best ofs. Dave, are you regretting that decision?
Oh, hell yeah. This reminds me of The Hurt Locker. I think I ran into this similar situation that year, and I feel the same about it. It would have definitely been on my top 5 at least.
All right, that's fair. I'm glad it made at least your top 5. I think this film, as I said last week, it was my number 2. Exceptionally powerful film. Bradley Cooper, who I have always struggled with as an actor. He's always good. He's solid. But every movie he's in, he's always, for me, he's Bradley Cooper. Mm-hmm. And this is the first time for me he really was able to surpass that. He really crossed over the Tatum line for me on this. I don't know if it was just the bulking up that he did, and the accent with the dip. I'm not sure what it was, but he really came across this time. He disappeared into this role for me.
He really did.
And he was absolutely fantastic in this film. He's this man just tortured by his decisions and his beliefs, and something he firmly believes that he's doing the right thing. There's been some controversy, Dave, with this film as well. There's some people that are feeling that it's too jingoistic, that it's basically a military propaganda film.
Okay.
And Michael Moore, the documentary director, was not a fan of this at all. He thought it glorified violence in the military, and that was a Republican recruitment tool. I got to say, I don't that it's a pro-war film. I don't agree with that at all. I really don't. I think anybody who walks into this film thinking that is missing possibly some of the most powerful moments in this movie.
Yeah.
is when he's home. And like you say, the correlation with the Hurt Locker, where Jeremy Renner's character, where he doesn't really feel home unless he's back in the war zone, in the battlefield. Kyle has that too, because he has this overwhelming urge to protect his brothers in the military and this overwhelming sense of duty. But it's still when he gets home and the impact it has on his family, how he deals with his PTSD, which he clearly has. I think that was, for me, some of the real strengths of this film is how Eastwood is he includes the war and gives us, albeit fictionalized accounts of Chris Kyle's heroics, but also the struggles that he had at home. And let's be fair about this. Kyle was a troubled guy. There are some things that have come up about him since then that he may not have always been the most truthful person. You have the whole Jesse Ventura lawsuit that Kyle's estate, unfortunately, is having to deal with. Some of the stuff in his book may not have actually happened the way he said it did. But I don't think it pulls away from this film. You walk into this film and watch it for what it is. It is just sweeping film. It grabs you emotionally, Dave, and it does not let go.
Yeah. Yeah, the whole time I sat in the theater watching this, I was on the edge of my seat. A lot of times I'll watch a movie that it goes back and forth between kind of the war and like the home front, like kind of the struggles at home.
Right.
And I get very bored with either one of those two aspects. But this movie it blends those two kind of different storylines together in such a strong way, with such good acting, in such believable ways. The way he develops PTSD as the story progresses, it's completely believable.
Sure.
You see it happen. It's not, at no point do I feel like they did something like kind of over the top and sensationalistic just to kind of like, oh, this is really the moment, right? It's like, it just kind of, you feel like he just kind of, he gets it, he gets it. He kind of just like, it develops over time and it feels really authentic. I don't really care about what's going on behind the scenes of this movie. As far as the movie's concerned, it is really a great film. It's entertaining. Some movies, when I watch them, I'm just purely entertained and I'm just having a blast. Like Guardians of the Galaxy is a perfect example of that for me. Other movies, I walk out of the theater and they kind of change the way I'm looking at the world. And this is one of those movies. It's just like, it gives me another perspective, another way of looking at things that I hadn't considered before, and I loved it. I had a great time in this movie, and I'll be thinking about this movie a lot in the coming months, I'm sure of it.
Yeah, I definitely want to see it again as well. I think one of the things Eastwood has problems with every now and then, I feel like a lot of times his films are always kind of at an arm's distance. You could never really connect with some of his characters. I think this is, for me, though, the best film he's directed since Unforgiven. I mean, it is... every note is hit perfectly in this film, from the action scenes, and I hesitate to even call them that. The war fight scenes, and then the emotional scenes of dealing with him and his family. Sienna Miller, can I tell you, she has quietly had a fantastic year, 2014, playing Chris Kyle's wife in this film. She also played the wife of, and it's escaping me now, but in Foxcatcher, she played the wife of Mark Ruffalo's character. She's really good in that. She's exceptionally strong in this film, though. It's just, for me, it really is an example of a perfect film. I think it's absolutely fantastic. And how it touches on all of these things that are happening right now in our society in regards to the war. I don't know. I can't say enough good things about it. And another thing, too, when I went to see it in New York, Dave, I was excited about this on a technical level. I saw it with the Dolby Atmos, the new sound system that they have.
Yeah.
Fantastic. I mean, you really feel like you're there. The way that the sound is so clear and so enveloping. It was really cool. If you get a chance to see a film with the Atmos, I highly recommend it. I went to New York to see this when I double feature with Inherent Vice. Inherent Vice had 20 people in the theater. Mm-hmm. This was at, I think 3 o'clock, on a Thursday, or maybe it was a Monday. Dave, the thing was packed.
Yeah, I had the same experience. A packed theater in the middle of the day.
Yeah.
I was like, whoa. I heard clapping at the end of the movie.
Yeah. It made, I was almost an emotional wreck by the end of the film, personally. And I'm ashamed to admit, I didn't know Chris Kyle's ultimate fate until I watched the film. Mm-hmm. But Yeah, I had that same experience. The thing made over $90 million over the weekend, which was insane, shattering all the records. So, I don't know. I mean, I could keep talking about this film all day. All I can say for the kids at home is, I shouldn't say, I don't know if you're a kid if you should see it, because it's very heavy. But it is a must-see, and I think you should rush out to the theater today and go see it.
Yeah, I would agree. It's an absolute. You definitely want to see it in the theater. I didn't get to see it with a Dolby Atmos, but I can say that the sound was excellent. A movie about snipers and gunfights. It's going to have bullets whizzing around, and it was very convincing in that aspect. It was really good. I gotta agree. You gotta go see this one. There are scenes that I think are gonna stick with me for the rest of my life. There's a scene with his father, like right at the beginning of the movie, that I don't know if I'll ever forget. Like it was that good.
I agree.
So yeah, check this one out immediately.
So if you've had a chance to see American Sniper, we'd love to hear your thoughts. Shoot us an email at feedback@thefirstrun.com. Dave, I'm going to take a quick break, come back, and we have a couple things to talk about. Not only going to tell you what's coming up on Blu-ray and DVD. Sadly, there's not a lot of big stuff coming. But we're also going to tell you about a movie that Dave and I started to watch. We'll explain what that's all about. And then we have an email as well. So we got a lot to get into, and we'll get into that when we get back.
Hey, you hear that? It's a goddamn SS battalion.
Bullshit.
Jesus Christ. Ready to get my gun?
Yeah.
You want to get the weapon?
Shit. Yeah, let's just get our shit, all right? Look, it's about to be dark. Just get on up out of here, huh? Let them pass on through.
Let's hit them woods. Dude, Norman, go get your shit. Go get your pack. Let's go. We ain't never run before. I ain't running now.
What's that?
We're gonna fight it out.
We can't.
I'm gonna hold this crossroad.
What you mean you're gonna hold this? The tank's busted. The tank's fucking busted, Top.
Yeah, you said that.
Top, what are you doing? What do you want to do? You want to sit here?
We're gonna hold this
you want to sit
crossroad.
here, hold off the SS battalion?
No, it's not what I want to do, but it's what we're doing.
There's 5 of us.
Get
your fighting position.
Mount up.
Fucking fighting positions when we ain't got to tell you how we gonna fight.
We got a cannon.
No, that don't make
Top,
sense.
you don't
Stop! What are you doing?
So, Dave, that was a clip from Fury, Brad Pitt and a tank versus a bunch of Nazis. It's being released on Blu-ray and DVD this upcoming Tuesday, January 27th. Includes a Blu-ray ultraviolet stream. Dave, if you buy it from Target, you get a steel book. If you get it from Best Buy, you get a bonus disc of another extra hour of bonus features. Some of them include deleted scenes and a couple behind-the-scenes featurettes.
I like that movie. I'm gonna watch that again.
All right, really, that much of a pull for you, huh?
I liked it. I had a good time watching that movie. It was dark, but it was cool. It was just a cool movie.
I just don't know if I have any desire to see that thing ever again. I don't know. Dave, what else is coming up? The Judge. Oh, The Judge. We're going to hear more about that later, I think. Comes with a Blu-ray DVD ultraviolet stream, commentary by the director. Maybe he just apologizes for 2.5 hours. And I should say, supplement I really need to see is Getting Deep with Dax Shepard.
Dax Shepard.
I think demands viewing.
Going deep.
Next up is a film called Before I Go to Sleep. It stars Nicole Kidman, and she suffers from some amnesia issue. She's unable to make new memories. Every morning she has to become reacquainted with her husband, who's played by Colin Firth. And there are other constraints in her life that she has to take part in accordance to her doctor's instructions, who's played by Mark Strong, her doctor. She keeps a video diary, and as she starts to uncover some terrifying truths about her past, she begins to question everything and everyone around her.
Bum, bum, bum.
If you're a fan of the DC animated films, Dave, Justice League Throne of Atlantis is coming out. This is DC's big push because we got to make Aquaman relevant. So you're going to have a steel book from Target. If you buy it at Best Buy, you get an Aquaman figure that really looks like a piece of crap. And it's a story about Aquaman and fighting his brother Ocean Master, who's trying to destroy the East Coast. And
Aquaman has a brother?
I guess so. Yeah, Ocean Master.
The Ocean Master. That's a way cooler name, I gotta say.
Than Aquaman?
Yeah.
You think you should switch it? You're right.
Yeah.
I'll have to talk to them about that. There's 4 bonus cartoons and some behind the scenes making of the animated film. New to Blu-ray, The Swamp from Criterion. It's a French film, and it's the release of Lucretia Martel's La Senega. That's the French pronunciation. Thank you. Heralded as the arrival of an astonishingly vital and original voice. I shouldn't say French because I'm an idiot. It's Argentinian.
Uh-huh.
Wow. With a radical take on clearly a movie I'm not familiar with.
I can tell by your pronunciation. Clearly,
the way
that's
I said it,
Argentinian.
you knew. Actually, I think that's Argentinian, Chris. It's disturbing yet beautiful cinematography and highly sophisticated use of on and off-screen sound. Martell turns her tale of a decaying bourgeoisie, got that one right, family, whiling away the hours of one sweaty, sticky summer into a cinematic marvel. Includes a new 4K digital film transfer approved by the director, as well as a 2.0 surround DTS HD master audio. It's Criterion, so you know they'll deliver. Kenneth Branagh's version of Henry V is coming out, Dave, on DVD, on Blu-ray, and then I'm trying to figure out how should we do this. We'll do it this way. I'll give you the straight to DVD. You do the streaming pick, and then we'll come back and talk about the other stuff.
Okay.
Falcon Rising. Chapman is an ex-Marine in Brazil's slums, battling the Yakuza outfit who attacked his sister and left her for dead. Dave, I think we should watch this movie because it stars Michael J. White, Black Dynamite himself.
Oh, okay.
And
I'm in.
And it's on Netflix Instant right now.
Yeah, all right.
So maybe we should try and catch up with it. But anytime, and it's supposed to be the start of a whole new franchise with Michael J. White playing a badass ex-Marine who gets into trouble and helps people. I like the idea of that, so we'll have to check that out. Dave, what should we be streaming this week besides Falcon Rising?
Okay, so I'm sticking with the Clint Eastwood theme today. I'm going with Mystic River. This just hit Netflix this week. Tragedy reunites childhood friends Sean, Dave, and Jimmy when they're linked together in the Boston-based murder investigation about Jimmy's teenage daughter. But while Detective Sean works the case, Jimmy launches his own quest for the truth. This one stars Sean Penn, Tim Robbins, Kevin Bacon, Lawrence Fishburne, and a bunch of other people. This is a really good movie directed by Clint Eastwood. It's really, I think, it was one of those times when I was like so blown away by an actor, Sean Penn, that like I just started looking up everything he's been doing for the last like 20 years, you know?
Yeah.
Sean Penn is brilliant in this movie. This is a really fun movie to watch.
Yeah, I remember being underwhelmed by it
Really?
when I first saw it. I thought it was good, but maybe it was too heavy. I don't know. Maybe I'm just too sensitive.
It is heavy.
So, but that's a good pick, Dave. All right, so I have an email we got. It's it says, I don't want to tell you the title because it gives it away, but I will say, I'm confused. Last week you listed your top 10 films of 2014. This is directed at me.
Okay.
You also reviewed your honorable mentions, films that weren't good enough to make your top 10. If I recall correctly, you called the Godzilla remake Jaws-like summer blockbuster entertainment.
Yeah, I remember you saying that.
An honorable mention. You're either a fraud or a complete idiot. I demand an explanation.
I agree with both of those.
And that email is from Chris
Matt?
Scalzo.
Oh.
Yeah, I wrote it to myself. Because 2 days after I posted the show, I was thinking about it. And I'm like, wait a minute. I didn't even mention Godzilla. And I really like that movie.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to think where it would go in my top 10. And sadly, I don't know if it would fit.
No way.
I don't.
It's a terrible movie.
It's not terrible.
It is terrible.
It is not. It's a lot of fun. It's really well done.
Awesome. No, it's not.
So it at least deserves an honorable mention. I still like Godzilla.
It might get one today.
So that's the email. You could always shoot us an email at feedback@thefirstrun.com. I'm sure you want to help support my cause that Godzilla was a lot of fun and a good movie.
I don't think we're going to get any emails supporting any cause such as this.
All right, Dave. So let's talk about something else. So what did we find out last week? Why don't you fill the kids in?
Okay, so Steven Soderbergh, that's his name, right? Steven?
Yeah.
It's Peter.
I usually say Soderbergh, but
Soderbergh. Okay. Soderbergh released a cut. He recut 2001: A Space Odyssey, and then posted it on his website for everybody to check out.
Yes, he did.
Unfortunately, it was very briefly posted before Warner Brothers and the Stanley Kubrick family asked him to take it down. Neither one of us actually got to see the full cut of it, and I assume that we are talking about something that nobody's ever going to get to see.
That's a good point. How helpful is that going to be?
Maybe this will get some kind of like a special feature release on an upcoming Blu-ray or future release in 2001. But since it's just like a pet project by Soderbergh, I can't imagine it would.
Probably not.
But Kubrick is one of my favorite directors of all time, and 2001 is one of the coolest movies of all time. getting a recut of that movie was very interesting to me. And seeing that recut was very interesting because you could make an argument that movie is way too fucking long.
Well, yes, you could definitely.
So it was fun to see another director kind of take all that footage and mix it around a little bit and see what he came up with. Unfortunately, I have to admit I didn't get to see the whole thing. I got interrupted about halfway through the movie, and by the time I came back to it, the movie had been taken down.
Yeah, I sadly did the same thing where I started watching it. Was it yesterday, 2 days ago? And I was all in, and then like about 20 minutes left, the screen went. It brought me back to his website, and that's when the disclaimer came up that the estate and Warner had asked him to take it down.
So, what did you think of the movie Recut?
I liked it.
Do you think this is a good idea, like to be recut in classics?
It depends on who it is. If Roland Emmerich or Brett Ratner want to recut, It's a Wonderful Life because it's too long, then hell no. I don't want anybody to come near stuff. But if it's something iconic and it's done by a Soderbergh or like I don't know, a Terrence Malick, a Fincher, I'd be interested to see what they come up with, just as an art project, as an experiment. So I don't have a problem with it, but it has to be, of course, in my own personal, since I clearly know what I'm talking about all the time, my elitist attitude or opinion that the director is worthy of making those changes. And I got to admit, I kind of like what he did with 2001.
I got to admit,
I saw.
Too. Now the problem, that's the problem too. I'm not going to review a movie that I didn't completely see, but what I did see, I liked. It was definitely faster paced. They seem to cut out a little bit of the nonsense about Russia versus America that just isn't really relevant to today.
Yeah,
it made perfect sense in the 60s when that movie was made. I also like and dislike how he kind of put Hal's eyeball kind of all through the movie. Like he just kind of all of a sudden,
I like that.
See Hal's, I don't know what it means. I don't know why he did it. And I thought it was cool that it was there, but I couldn't really figure out why he was doing it.
I felt like it was Soderbergh saying that Hal, and at least Hal's decisions and his awareness or his psychotic break really is throughout the film, and how it more represents human and our own emotions and our own a flimsy tether to our own sanity, and how it kind of, I liked the introduction of that, and how he also had Bowman's eye to the psychedelic version, in the beginning as well. So, and how even back then, how we're all connected still, that we're still at those base instincts, and we all still react out of fear and not understanding ourselves. Like what Hal's initial error, right, is what spirals him out of control. That makes him realize it gives him his attack of unconfidence, just to coin a phrase.
I'll go for it.
So, I don't know.
2001, I think, is a especially right movie for this. Just because, the pacing, I feel like the pacing of older movies, like some of the classics from the 60s and 70s, in today's day and age, it feels slow. Even though those movies are still awesome, if you've got the patience for it, they feel slow now.
We like to say deliberately paced, Dave.
Sure. You can say that. I say, I got shit to do, move on.
Fair enough. So,
but I mean, that movie is fantastic. What movie would you like to see him do next? If Soderbergh was going to do another one, what would you suggest?
That's what I've been thinking about. I'm not entirely sure. I have this weird thing where I'm curious if you could cut down the good and the bad and the ugly and make it a better film, or at least make it a good film, because it's a long movie.
That is a long movie.
I'm curious if you could pull that off, or
I bet you could.
The West, either the Leone films, or what was the one? I just had it on the tip of my tongue. Damn it. Oh, maybe like one of the old original Bond films, like From Russia with Love. That's 2+, and I think that could, even though it's my favorite one, I'm curious to see what somebody could do with it. Do you have anything?
I was actually, for some reason, the first movie that popped in my head was Dog Day Afternoon. I feel like that could be a really tight movie, but it definitely, watching it now, it feels like it wanders a bit.
That's interesting.
But some of the reason it wanders is because the story wanders. Like the story just kind of goes in so many crazy directions in that movie.
Right.
I don't know. I'd have to watch the movie again and then talk to Steven about it first.
All right. We'll set that up.
All right.
So that's the end of that segment. Blu-ray, DVD picks, streaming, emails, and our
The movie you'll never
discussion
see.
of a film that we didn't get to see. So there you go. Shoot us an email, feedback at the first run, and then let's take a break, Dave, and come back and just drop the hammer. It's time to bring the pain. The 5 worst films of 2014.
All right.
Sin City's where you go in with your eyes open, or you don't come out at all. Or you don't come out at all. You want to go make some real money?
Who wants to play? Whatever you do, don't win too much.
Well, Senator, I'm ready for your worst.
You don't even want to dream about my worst.
From Frank Miller, the creator of 300.
You get to the side, Marcy. I gotta break some bones.
Means going up against a lot of guns.
Count me in. It's gonna be a long night.
Sin City, A Dame to Kill For, August 22nd.
So, Dave, usually I like to find a cool clip to put in front and also try not to use a clip from a movie that's actually going to be in the top 5 or bottom 5, I guess, in this point. But you know what? The hell with it. So I used a clip, not even a clip, like a mini trailer of Sin City, A Dame to Kill For, because this movie sucked. And I was so angry about it because I really enjoyed the first one. I'm curious if it still holds up for me. Part of me thinks it wouldn't if I watched it again.
Mm-hmm.
But this movie, it's like everything that was good about the first film and how some people had critiqued it, saying like it was too sexist and too violent and not smart. I feel like then all Rodriguez and Miller started to do was just double down on that and put the pedal to the floor and really fulfill all the horrible things that people had said originally. Because the film is brain dead. That offers nothing except a mostly naked Eva Green, and even so, there's really nothing of any worth in this film, which is it's sad to say because I like the first film, as I said, but this film I just left shaking my head. You're gonna give me what's it been 6-7 years? You're gonna make me wait that long for a sequel, and you're gonna churn out this? I was very disappointed. So that was my 5.
That was your 5? All right. I unfortunately didn't get to see that. Or fortunately, I guess you could
drop
say.
the prefix from that.
Yeah. My number 5, I got to say, too, Chris, is that when you brought this topic up, when you said make your top 5 worst movies of the year, I was like, that's going to be a hard list to make this year. That's a good year.
It was strong.
It was a strong year. Even my top 5 worst movies of the year, I only pick movies that I had seen, and most of the movies I see are for the podcast. They're not that bad.
Right.
So The Amazing Spider-Man 3 or Amazing Spider-Man 2 is my number 5. I really didn't like this movie. I thought it was stupid. I thought it was boring. I didn't like the main villain. I thought it was just kind of lame. Like for watching a superhero movie, I want to be excited. I want to see exciting action scenes. I want to see harrowing events, and none of that stuff ever happened. I was actually pleasantly surprised by the first Spider-Man movie. The first new Spider-Man movie.
Yeah.
And this was a real disappointment. I felt like the first one had some heart to it. It was actually surprisingly good, and this one was just really bad.
Yeah, I think I'm inclined to agree with you. I think I liked it more than you, but it definitely was a step down, I think. I did not enjoy it as much. It had a lot of potential, but it just, I don't know. I don't know what happened. I guess, like I said, I think the film just got away from him. I don't know. They're trying to do too much. It's too ambitious. So, we'll see. Did you hear one of the things they were thinking about doing is making a standalone film, like a comedy featuring Aunt May with Sally Field?
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
My number 4 is is a sequel to a film that kind of sparked you being on this show.
Okay.
You and I once had a conversation about how much I hated the Transformers films.
Oh yeah.
And you basically said it's got boobs and explosions and robots.
Yeah.
Fighting robots.
Yeah.
What more do you need in a movie?
Right.
Well, something, clearly, because my number 4 is Transformers Age of Extinction. How this series keeps plodding along, I do not... Well, I know why, because it makes an S-load of money every time it comes out. Mm-hmm. They try and rejuvenate this franchise by setting it in the future, and we have now Mark Wahlberg. How's your mother? He is now the head of the franchise, and thankfully, I mean, I'm happy that we moved on from Shia. I was done with Shia when I saw Shia. So... Dave, just the film was a complete disaster, I think.
It was.
Everything,
it was bad.
You'd think after 4 films, they'd be able to piece it together and kind of figure out what they're doing.
They're going in the wrong direction, Chris. They're getting worse as they go.
Mm-hmm. Oh,
they really are. The first Transformers movie was not a good movie.
No.
But it was at least, considering the source material, I thought it was somewhat entertaining. Like, I had a good time sitting there watching it. And it was okay. It was a lot better than G.I. Joe was the same year.
How dare you? Maybe.
But yeah, I got to agree with you. They just keep getting worse and worse.
Yeah.
My number 4 was... go ahead.
I do have one other thing I wanted to say about it, too. Though, and I think what was so bad about the Transformers, it was the second one. The most disturbing use of sexual exploitation outside of a porn film.
Yeah.
Is still to the Transformers when Megan Fox is working on her motorcycle, but she's draped over the motorcycle to work. I mean,
what exactly is she working on there?
I never understood that. So, look, why can't, like you said, they can't jump in like the Fast and Furious franchise? That thing started as a joke and is now like this huge multi-billion-dollar franchise now.
Yeah.
That people actually like and respect.
I'm actually excited for the next one.
Yeah. I like the last one, and then the way the last one ends with Statham walking out, and I'm like, boom, that's all you need.
You sold me.
Exactly.
It's like the Expendables, but good.
Exactly.
All right, I'm going to move on to my number 4. Mine was, I think that's where that 3 came from. 3 Days to Kill with Kevin Costner.
Yeah.
Check this one out.
No, I did not. It's on Netflix, though, right?
Yeah, it was bad. It was like a lame ripoff of Taken. Like, almost verbatim. It was awful. Like, Kevin Costner, he used to be this respected actor. How did he end up in this trash? Like, he plays this spy that you never buy. He's just too, like, kind of dim-witted to be to be what he portrays. He's completely inept at almost everything he does in this movie. It's not a fun movie. It's really unfortunate.
Yeah, no, I haven't checked that one out. I did watch something recently. It's probably cheating too, but we'll get into that in a bit. My number 3 then is just the unmitigated melodramatic disaster that is The Judge.
Okay.
It's got a fantastic cast. Robert Downey Jr., who never fails to deliver. Vincent D'Onofrio, some guy who thankfully didn't go full retard, which you think Downey Jr. would have talked him out of at some point. But Robert Downey Jr., his father is Robert Duvall, and Duvall gets in an accident. He's early onset, not even early at this point, right? But he's got signs of dementia or Alzheimer's. So RDJ has to go home and basically represent his dad, who is the judge in this hit and run accident. But there's all the internal family dynamics, and everybody's got issues with each other, and it's so Oscar bait heavy, and it fails on every single level. It really does. The relationship that RDJ tries to rekindle with Vera Farmiga, his old flame, the weird creepy thing where he ends up possibly sleeping with his daughter. I mean, there's a lot of weird, a lot of weird stuff in this film that it just the funny stuff never really lands. And the drama is melodrama, where it's so heavy-handed. And at no point do you give one single poo for any of the characters in this film. You don't care how anybody turns out. You don't.
Yeah,
and
I
the
agree.
courtroom scenes are neutered. They should be all exciting, but they're not. It's just a failure from start to finish, sadly.
Yeah, I agree.
So there you go.
My number 3 is Godzilla.
What?
Yeah, this movie was garbage. I still can't believe you like this. I remember when we did this show with Matt.
Brilliant film.
We had a 3-way show, and
yeah, we did.
Like I was shocked. I was like sitting there, looking at you like, how can you be? The words that are coming out of your mouth do not make any sense.
It's a lot of fun.
No, it's not. It's terrible.
Oh,
they don't
it's
even.
so smart because he does the bait and switch, so we think it's the one monster, but it's not him, and that's the other guy, and then God shows up, and then
It's so boring. That's the problem with the
No,
movie.
it's
It's
not.
a boring movie. You don't care about any of the characters, including Godzilla, which you hardly even see in the movie. I don't know. The only character I cared about, they kill off in the first 5 minutes of the movie, and I basically checked out for the rest of it.
what a great move that was, the old bait and switch. The problem is,
It would have been great if there was something to switch it with, but all they did was bait.
that's what I was gonna say. The problem is that you pull the most appealing actor out of the film after 20 minutes, and you put in a totally unbelievable performance by Aaron Johnson. And a tacked on romance with the Olsen girl, Elizabeth Olsen. That, like I said when we talked about the film, is a huge just misstep. That doesn't work at all.
And the way this guy, he somehow just jumps around, always being exactly where God's. I don't know. The whole thing was just stupid and ridiculous.
No.
I didn't like it at all.
No. Godzilla is a lot of fun.
No, it's not.
And how they wait and they tease you with Godzilla showing up, and then you're gonna see him, but then you don't. Oh, I want to see Godzilla. I absolutely loved it.
Yeah,
0. My number 2 is what a disaster of a film, and that's Transcendence. Johnny Depp, Paul Bettany, and of course I'm forgetting the young lady's name now, but it is Dave. It's a really dumb. It's a high concept film, right? Where Johnny Depp plays this guy who is, well, he's really ill, but he's a brilliant man, and he puts himself into the computer, right? And he's going to go ahead and live on forever, and then he starts to maybe bring everybody like a utopia. Rebecca Hall, thank you, good save, Dave. And he's going to bring a utopia to the world by making everything better through the computer. Then, of course, as always, things get twisted, and he starts to, it's the same old Skynet thing. But it's dull. It's exceedingly dull from start to finish, And like we said earlier, when I was saying about the judge, you don't care. You don't care about anything that happens. And what they do is they rob you of all the cool stuff. You want to see the world kind of go to crap. You want to see the marauding people running through the streets, and you never really get any of that. It's Rebecca Hall at this place in, where the hell are they? Arizona, Utah? I don't remember. But they got their little camp set up, and then they're going to try and unplug Depp, and then maybe it's just, you know what? I had a lot of hopes for this film. I thought it was going to be interesting. I like a high concept thriller, but not when basically it's just a high concept and then it's written by a bunch of monkeys in a room. So I didn't care for it at all.
Yeah. Okay. What's next? Number 2?
For you, yeah.
All right. My number 2 we already talked about, but I think we should talk about again because it was that bad. Transformers: Age of Extinction.
Nice.
Like we mentioned before, I liked the first movie. I had fun. I'm not saying it was a great movie. It's no piece of art. But I sat there and I enjoyed it, right? It was, it was explosions and hot girls and robots and, like I said before, it's what
more do you need?
It's not high concept, but it's entertaining. And it's based off of the Transformers, a show that was based off a toy, so
right.
I feel like a lot of the hate for that first Transformers movies comes from, people who just wanted something more than was really there. People who had a lot of nostalgia for the old cartoons. Anyway, that doesn't excuse the fact that this series just continues to get worse and worse and worse. And this one was by far the worst one. I mean, there was a scene with Optimus Prime riding a dinosaur robot.
Yeah, Grimlock.
Into battle. I think he had to tame it first, like a bucking bronco. Yep. It was the whole sequence was why am I watching this?
Because then we could work in the Dinobots. That's why you had to watch that.
It was just ridiculous.
Come on, Dave, use your head.
It actually occurred to me, I'm watching a 20-minute scene about him taming this Dinobot and him convincing this Dinobot to join his cause. Why didn't they just wake up the Dinobot and said, okay, here's a cool robot, let's go fight something? Why do I need all this lore about this toy?
Because then it's not exciting if you don't have all that, Dave.
There's nothing. It was abysmal. It was really a bad movie. The first, yeah. There was like one good character, right? And he dies right at the beginning. And kind of like Godzilla. Like he was kind of funny. He said some funny stuff. I was like, I'm bored. I'm like, all right, at least I'm gonna get some witty quips throughout this movie. Oh no, they squished him.
Yeah, no, it was really, really bad. So, oh well. My number one, Dave, I feel like I said, it's a bit of a cheat. Because I felt like I wasn't doing my duty if I didn't see this film, if I'm going to talk about the worst films of 2014.
So you watched the movie specifically to see how bad it was?
I did. And that
Can I make a guess?
Go ahead.
All right. My guess is either Left Behind with Nick Cage or Atlas Shrugged.
If you had to choose, which one would you think? If you had to pick one of the
Left
two.
Behind.
You are correct. It is Left Behind. It is... Oh, Dave, I can't tell you how bad this movie is. The dialogue is so poorly scripted. The delivery of the lines is so wooden. Cage, I feel like he's sleepwalking through the whole thing. The special effects, especially at the end when they try and land the plane, it's like Sci-Fi Channel level special effects.
Really?
It is really, really. It is just as bad as you've heard it is. I can't describe it, and it's just such a complete disaster. I don't know. I think it's like the third or fourth time I've used that today. But I remember reading about it too. People say like they did a smaller budget one with Kirk Cameron years ago, and like that one is supposed to be far superior to this larger
the
budget
one with
film.
Kirk Cameron is superior.
So,
this is based off a series of books, right?
Yeah,
Left
based
Behind?
on the revelations about the end of the world and the what do you call it when everybody goes up to all the good people go up to heaven.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's it's my favorite part when the rapture hits. The main actress who plays Cage's daughter is walking with her little brother in the mall. He's a little kid, and they're walking, and all of a sudden it's like poof, and all of a sudden all you see are clothes falling everywhere. So it's all the people who've got raptured. Just their clothes are left behind. Everybody on the airplane's freaking out. And there's this one scene with Jordan Sparks from American Idol, whose son disappears, and she goes crazy because she thinks somebody drugged her, and they stopped the plane and stole the son from her, and then went back up. I mean, there's so many crazy things that happen in this film. And the whole film is preposterous from start to finish. I laughed out loud quite a few times watching this movie.
There's so many good stories you could tell about the rapture. Like the moments after the rapture is so ripe. You know, like it's so.
You really got to think about what you've done with your life too at that point, right?
Like, oh shit,
how bad have I screwed up that I didn't make the cut?
Yep.
So
yeah, that's good stuff. I think wasn't there a show on like Cinemax or HBO about the rapture?
Yeah, it was on HBO. Yeah. I don't remember exactly what it was, but
no, me neither. All right, my number one. I don't think it's as bad as that, but I actually saw this movie. It was Frankenstein. Frankenstein with Aaron Eckhart.
Oh, I wanted to watch that one too. I didn't get a chance to.
Oh my god, it is garbage, Chris. It is terrible.
I wanted to catch that one before we did this list too, because I heard it was that bad, and it's on Netflix. But
it is on Netflix. So let me give you the setup. Right, Aaron Eckhart is Frankenstein's monster.
Mm-hmm.
The film, in about 60 seconds, goes through the entire story that you're familiar with Frankenstein.
Good.
And then disembarks from that entirely.
All right.
So they show him kind of like just walking into the mountains, and then it's present day, and all of a sudden there's like demons and there's gargoyles, and they fight each other.
Well,
and the gargoyles kind of try and recruit Frankenstein to fight with them. Because he's Frankenstein.
Well, has anybody talked to Dracula or the Wolfman, or are they just...
I don't know. Maybe they weren't available. Maybe they're fighting some other mythical beast. But it was... Aaron Eckhart, like... I feel like he knew he was in a shitty movie.
Yeah.
Like, maybe he's in tax trouble or something, and he just needs a little bit of money.
Like Cage?
Yeah. And, like... I gotta say, the special effects weren't bad considering you have demons and gargoyles fighting. And these are the gargoyles that you see like on the top of buildings. So they would just kind of... it was garbage. Like, it made no sense. You didn't care about any of the characters. It was purely the only reason to watch this is purely for the entertainment sake of watching a shitty movie and making fun of it.
Damn it! I gotta catch that thing out. I gotta check it out. I was so upset. I totally forgot about it till now. I tried to watch it last week and I didn't have time. And I got so focused on watching Left Behind that I forgot about I Frankenstein. Maybe at some point I'll catch up with it. That's a good one. Do you have any honorable mentions?
I do. Left Behind, you already mentioned. A
Wait, you
Million
saw
Ways
it?
to Die in the West. I wanted this movie to be funny. It just kind of left me flat.
Wait, back up. So you saw Left Behind?
No. That's just an honorable mention.
Oh, okay.
I saw the trailer for it, and I know I'll never see it.
Okay. Listen, I got issues with the A Million Ways to Die in the West. I think for the first half of that film, it is really, really funny.
I would agree with you.
And then
the
it's
movie's
just
an
kinda
hour and a
falls
half long.
It's long. It's like 2 hours long. It's
Is
a
it
long
2 hours?
film.
Yeah.
else?
I don't know. There's some funny bits in it. Like, I thought, like, the whole mustache theme that kind of goes throughout, I thought was pretty funny. But I don't know. I wanted it to be good, but it just never really hit for me. Atlas Shrugged 3, another movie I didn't see. I did see the trailer for it, and I did see the first Atlas Shrugged. It was awful. I've heard it's gotten worse.
Yeah, it's from what I saw the first one too, and then the second one they had a whole new cast.
Yeah.
From what I understand, the third one again they have a whole new cast. But I think like I heard like at least a quarter of the film is like stock footage.
Yeah, I heard that too.
Like really bad stuff.
This was a Kickstarter, which I find hilarious because it's based on Anne Rind. And finally, Hercules. I thought that was a really shitty movie.
I didn't think it was horrible. You're talking about the Brett Ratner one with The Rock, right?
No, the other one.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I didn't see that one.
I don't remember the main character in it. It was awful.
Yeah, fair enough. I also had Exodus on my list. The Christian Bale one where he plays, Moses.
Oh, yeah. Was that... Did, speaking of Bible movies, did Noah come out this year?
It did, 2014.
Oh,
yeah.
That should definitely be on my list.
Yeah, I didn't see it.
That shit crazy, Chris. You got to check that out. They have like rock giants in it.
Yeah, I heard about that. I got to check that out. It's Aronofsky, too. You'd think I would have stopped by now. So I got Exodus. I got Expendables 3. Just when you thought Expendables 2 was as low as you could go. Bullet to the Head 2 was pretty bad. And then Schwarzenegger's latest film, Sabotage. Ooh, just mean. A mean, stupid film that wastes an actually engaging performance by Schwarzenegger. So that's that. I think Sabotage is actually on Netflix right now, Dave. So you can see how bad a movie that is, but how Arnold is pretty decent in it until the end when his ultimate motivation is revealed and he makes a decision that like makes no sense. But whatever.
I don't know. I watched that movie, right? And I was somewhat entertained. I agree with you about the ending of the movie, how his decision doesn't make sense, but I don't know. I actually had fun watching that movie.
Well, there you go.
But it was on Netflix, and I was sitting on the couch,
drunk.
Probably.
One hand down your pants.
It was on the couch.
One wrapped around
Well, I mean, it was an Arnold movie.
Oh, by the way, did you hear Interview is hitting Netflix? Is it this weekend or next week?
Is it? What's the interview?
The Interview.
Help me out.
Seth Rogen, James Franco, kind of a controversial film.
Oh, that's coming to Netflix already?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, they're putting it out early. So you can watch it now, kids. Check it out on Netflix.
That's funny. If you like dick jokes, I think you're going to be pleased with that movie.
It is. It is like the holy grail of dick joke movies about North Korea. So, we'd love to hear your thoughts. What films did we miss? What are some of the worst films of 2014? Shoot us an email at feedback@thefirstrun.com. Dave, let's take a break, come back, and tell people what's coming up next week. I'm excited. I've seen this film. I'm curious. I can't wait to hear your opinion. So, let's take a listen.
That you, Shasta?
Thinks he's hallucinating.
No, just a new package, I guess.
I need your help, Doc.
I have an office now. That's like a day job and everything.
I looked at the phone book. I almost went over there. Then I thought better for everyone if this looks like a secret rendezvous.
Somebody keeping a close eye?
Just spent an hour on surface streets trying to make it look good.
So, Dave, that was a clip from Inherent Vice, the latest film from P.T. Anderson, who we're big fans of around here. So I'm happy you'll be able to catch up with that, and then I can talk about it more in length. So that'll be great. That's coming up. What else, Dave? Check us out on Facebook and Twitter and YouTube. Just do a search for The First Run. Of course, we're at thefirstrun.com as well. And Dave's at the Briar Rabbit channel on YouTube, covering lots of interesting video game stuff, Dave. So what's going on right now on Briar Rabbit?
Man, frustration. I'll tell you what. The newest raid came out for Destiny, and we got our asses kicked. 6 people with a single purpose, walking in, and then just getting our dreams shattered. It was awful. It was awful. I've got a compilation video of us just swearing a lot coming out later today.
I have to check that out.
Yeah.
Will you guys still be playing that like in 6 months?
I don't know. I can't tell you. Like I'm still having fun with it, but if something better comes along, I'll be switching over.
That's probably when I'm gonna end up picking up the PS4. Whenever, like I said, whenever the Uncharted Arkham Knight bundle comes out, that's probably when I'll pull the trigger. But those games aren't even coming out till later in the year, right?
Yeah, I would expect the holidays next year, like November-ish next year. Both of them.
This year, right?
Right.
Yeah, I don't know if I want to wait that long. Then.
Chris, how come you don't live tweet movie watching anymore? You used to do that, and it was hilarious.
I don't know. I'll have to do. Things have been a little crazy. I should get back to that. I do have some really crappy films I could talk about again too.
Yeah, that's fun.
So I'll have to get back into doing that. I appreciate that, Dave. I will definitely do that. All right, so that's going to be the big show for this week. Thanks for everybody for listening. We are gonna. Oh wait, I got to tell you too, Dave. Oh crap! I think I told you that one already. Did I tell everybody what my favorite album was of all time?
No. Is it David Bowie?
It is. If you can see behind me, that's it. It's David Bowie.
There's 2 David Bowies up there.
It's low. Nope.
That's not David Bowie on the bottom?
Below that's Iggy Pop. That's the Raw Power album.
Okay.
Below that is Pixies' Doolittle. And below that, you can't see, is Queen's News of the World. Even though there are other better Queen albums. I just like that album cover. And then even below that is Dave Brubeck's Take 5.
Oh, that's a classic. I just bought a Dave Brubeck CD.
Nice.
On Amazon. It just got delivered yesterday. My wife looked at me and said, "Why did you order a CD?" I said, because it was cheaper to order the CD and get auto rip on Amazon than to buy the album on iTunes.
I've done that a couple times myself, actually. Yeah. Good times. All right, so that's a big show. We'll take an extended break, and we'll see you all in a week.
See you next week.
To what do we owe this pleasure?
I just got one thing to lay on you cats and then I'll split. That I am declaring war on anybody who sells drugs in our community.
But Black Dynamite, I sell drugs to the community.